Hello dear students, I am Pinas Kavrana. Today we will be doing the third chapter of your civics book, that is Why Do We Need a Parliament? This is the first page of your textbook and we read the first heading as Why Should People Decide? Okay, which means that why people should be allowed to select their representatives, why people should be included in the decision making process. To understand this or to give answer to this question, let us start understanding from where it all started. Getting back to the past, in the year 1885, the Indian National Congress demanded its elected members in the legislature to discuss and ask different questions. Okay, now what is basically legislature? Legislature is a group of people who have the power of making or changing laws. So now the first point will be understandable. It is in the year 1885, the Indian National Congress demanded its elected members in the legislature to discuss and ask questions regarding the working of the country. Then, in the year 1909, under the Government of India Act, these people they allowed some elected representations but did not allow all the adults to vote and participate in the decision making. So this point means that under this scheme, under this act of Government of India, okay, in the year 1909, some members were allowed to vote and have their representation in the legislature, but every people in the country did not have the voting rights to select their leaders. Only few had it. This was under colonialism. People lived in fear. They did not, of course, have the voting rights, as we studied in point number 2. Their decisions weren't agreed upon. They faced danger if they criticized the Britishers. Then started the freedom movement. People decided they wanted to fight for their freedom. They all wanted to have the voting rights, take part in the decision making. They all wanted to live freely and wanted to live independently. They were tired of facing all the struggles and troubles that was coming from the Britishers. So a lot of people gradually started joining in the freedom struggle because they were all interested in equality and participation in decision making and many more benefits like this. Finally, India gained independence on 15th August 1947. Now, the experience under colonial rule and struggle for freedom ensured that in free India all person will be able to participate in decision making. This point means that obviously we have studied in this video itself, you might have heard me saying that people earlier during the colonialism had faced a lot of troubles. They did not have the voting rights, they did not have their participation in the decision making. They faced a lot of threats, a lot of troubles. They were feared, they were scared of the Britishers. So it was very obvious that our leaders had decided that after independence we will not be facing all these troubles and difficulties. Our country will be a free country and each and every citizen will be given their right to vote and will be able to participate in decision making process. In free India, of course, then the government had to be sensitive towards people's need. Government had to think about the people. The government had to, be sensitive. The government had to give the citizens their rights, because if they did not give, they knew that another leader would be elected. These dreams and aspirations of freedom was made concrete in the Constitution of India that laid down universal adult franchise. Okay, this dreams and aspiration, this decision that the leaders had taken to make India free, to let every citizen vote, gave rise to universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise is where every citizen is given their particular right to vote. Every vote has one value and every man has one vote. This desire, approval and participation of people was the takeoff point for democracy. Okay, now this desire where everybody wanted to vote, this approval by the government where everybody was allowed to give vote, and the participation of the people in this decision had actually become the takeoff point. It means the turning point for democracy, and this, I can say, gave rise to democracy. Here, decisions of the people creates and regulates the functioning of the government, and it thus implies that election system was very necessary. The idea was to ensure that the people were the most important, and working of the government needed the trust of the citizens. Why was this election system implemented? Election system was implemented because it wanted to make the citizens feel that they were the most important ones in the country, and the government runs only according to them and for them, and thus the election system took place. Election was the way of doing this because one group from those elected representatives in the parliament forms the government. All the elected representatives together control and guide the government. Thus, people through their chosen representatives forms and controls the government. Now, with this election system, I can also say that every person is putting their votes. Thus, every person is selecting their representative. These representatives that people select go and sit in the parliament and take up the system, take up the process of running the government. They control and guide the government. But they were the representatives selected by the government, thus by the people. Thus, indirectly, it is the people who are running the country by putting in their votes. Next topic here is the role of the parliament. There are three basic roles of the parliament that we'll be understanding in the next part of the video, but today we'll only understand that what is this parliament, how is it formed. Okay, so basically the parliament was formed after 15th August 1947. It is basically an expression of the faith of people in democracy. The formation of parliament, the working of parliament, the parliament is still there in our country, which indicates that the people still have faith in our democracy and the working of the country. It has immense powers as it is the representative of the people. The parliament has got a lot of powers because it is the representative of the people. Why is it the representative of the people? Because the people who are selected by the citizens sit in the parliament, and thus the parliament becomes the representative of the people. Elections here are held in similar manner as in state legislature, that is Rajya Sabha. Parliament or Lok Sabha elections are carried on once in 5 years. Okay. Country is divided into constituencies with one elected person to the parliament. So now during the elections that take place in every 5 years, the country is divided into various constituencies, various places, various areas, okay, various states. Each person in every constituency is voting for the people they want to see as the leader. Now the ones who stand in this election are from different groups, different parties. Okay, the one who is getting the maximum number of vote is winning. I mean, the party that is getting maximum number of vote is winning. Then this person becomes the MLA, and he goes and sits in the parliament, and the maximum number of MLA in the parliament from a particular group or a particular political party become the ruling government. Okay, so this is how the parliament is formed. Here on your screen you have some voting marking that was conducted in the year 2014. you can see that the Bharatiya Janata Party had 282 votes. It means that 282 MLAs were selected in the parliament. The next important party is INC, Indian National Congress. It had only 44 votes, which means that only 44 MLAs of the Indian National Congress were being seated in the parliament. Thus, very clearly we can understand that the winner was Bharatiya Janata Party. And we also know that it was Bharatiya Janata Party in the year 2017-14 that was ruling the country. It was the party, it was the ruling party. Okay. So I again repeat, we have three roles of government, three roles of parliament, two of which we will be understanding in the next part of this video, and the third will be understood in the later chapters of your textbook. With this, we are done with the first part of the chapter. Thank you. Please share with your friends and subscribe.